Hello there. Let's talk about one of the most sacred moments of the day. That first glorious sip of coffee. The aroma fills the kitchen. The warmth spreads through your hands. It's a ritual. It's the signal that the day has truly begun. For so many of us, it's not just a drink. It's a promise of clarity, of energy, of readiness to face whatever comes our way. But what if I told you that this cherished ritual, specifically the timing of it, might be quietly working against you? What if that first thing in the morning cup, before you've had a bite to eat, is the very thing contributing to that afternoon slump you can't seem to shake? Or that fluttery, anxious feeling that sometimes creeps in mid-morning? Or even that nagging heartburn that seems to flare up for no reason? For many of us over 60, our bodies have become more sensitive. We notice the small things more. And one of the most common complaints I hear from my patients is a feeling of being on a daily energy roller coaster. They wake up feeling okay, but by lunchtime, they're drained. They feel jittery instead of energized. Their digestion feels unsettled. They often blame it on age, on not sleeping well, or on a dozen other things. But very often, the conversation leads us right back to that first hour of the day and to this exact question: what do you do before you drink your coffee? The answer, for millions of us, is nothing. And today, I'm going to explain, as a doctor, why that simple habit might be one of the most important things to reconsider for your long-term health and daily well-being. The solution, I promise, is wonderfully simple. It doesn't involve giving up your coffee, just giving your body a little support first. We're a community here dedicated to understanding our health in a way that feels empowering, not frightening. If that sounds like a conversation you want to be a part of, I invite you to subscribe. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What's your favorite morning ritual? I'm always curious to learn what gets your day started on the right foot. Now, let's begin with something happening inside your body the moment you wake up, long before you even think about the coffee maker. It's a powerful hormone called cortisol. You've likely heard of it as the stress hormone, and it certainly plays that role. But its other job is to be your body's own natural, built-in alarm clock. In a healthy rhythm, your cortisol levels are lowest in the middle of the night while you sleep. Then, in the early morning, your brain sends a signal to your adrenal glands, two little glands that sit on top of your kidneys, to start producing it. This cortisol level naturally rises and peaks within about 30 to 45 minutes of you waking up. This peak is what helps you feel alert. It pulls you out of grogginess, raises your blood sugar slightly to give you energy, and gets your body and mind ready for the day. It's a beautiful, natural process. Now, here's where the coffee comes in. Caffeine is a powerful stimulant. One of the main things it does is also tell your adrenal glands to produce cortisol. So, picture this. Your body is already in the middle of its natural, healthy cortisol surge, designed to wake you up gently. Then, you pour a strong cup of coffee on top of that. It's like trying to wake a sleeping friend with a gentle shake. And just as they're starting to stir, someone else runs in and blasts a foghorn right in their ear. The result isn't a smooth, calm awakening. It's a jolt. It's an exaggerated stress response. Instead of feeling alert and focused, you might feel jittery, anxious, or even a little frazzled. Your heart might beat a little faster. You're essentially telling your body there's an emergency when there isn't one. This can create a cycle where your body starts to rely on the caffeine for that jolt, potentially dampening its own natural cortisol response over time, making it even harder to wake up without it. The simple, elegant solution is to work with your body's rhythm, not against it. Let your natural cortisol peak happen on its own. Enjoy a glass of water. Move around a bit. And then, about an hour to 90 minutes after you've woken up, when your cortisol levels have started to naturally decline, that's the perfect time to have your coffee. It will give you a gentle lift rather than a jarring spike. And having a small bite to eat first, which we'll discuss next, makes this timing even more effective. Let's move from your hormones to your digestive system, specifically your stomach. Think of your stomach as a powerful, resilient organ, but one that still needs to be treated with care, especially as we get older. The inside of your stomach is protected by a thick layer of mucus. This layer is crucial because it shields the delicate stomach wall from the very strong hydrochloric acid your body produces to break down food. When you wake up, your stomach is empty. That protective lining is exposed. Now, let's introduce the coffee. Coffee is naturally acidic. It contains compounds like chlorogenic acids that, while having some health benefits, contribute to its overall low pH. When you pour this acidic beverage into an empty stomach, it's like putting a mild acidic solution directly onto that lining without any buffer. For some people, this can cause immediate irritation, a feeling of discomfort, or a sour stomach. But that's only half the story. Coffee does something else, too. It stimulates the production of a hormone called gastrin. Gastrin's job is to signal the stomach to release more of that powerful hydrochloric acid. This is a great thing when you've just eaten a meal. You need that acid for digestion. But when your stomach is empty, you're essentially turning on the acid faucet with nothing there for the acid to work on, except for your own stomach lining. Imagine you're preparing to wash a pile of greasy dishes. You turn on the hot water and add a strong soap. That's perfect for the task. But what if there were no dishes in the sink? You'd just have a basin full of hot, soapy, churning water with nothing to do. That's what's happening in your stomach. This combination of coffee's own acidity and the new acid it tells your body to produce can, over time, weaken the stomach's protective lining. It can worsen conditions like gastritis, which is an inflammation of the stomach lining, and it's a major trigger for acid reflux or GERD. That burning sensation in your chest, the frequent burping, the feeling of food coming back up. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach can be a significant contributor to all of it. Even decaf coffee can trigger this acid response, so it's not just about the caffeine. The simple act of eating a small something first provides a physical buffer, a food cushion, that gives the acid a job to do, protecting your stomach and preventing that uncomfortable irritation. Now, this brings us to one of the most critical topics for long-term health, especially for seniors: blood sugar management. Maintaining stable blood sugar is key to consistent energy, mental clarity, and preventing the progression of metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes. And you might be very surprised to learn that your morning coffee habit could be quietly sabotaging your efforts for the entire rest of the day. Research has shown something quite fascinating. Drinking a strong cup of coffee on an empty stomach after a poor night's sleep can significantly impair your body's ability to handle the sugar from your breakfast. Let's break down why. As we discussed, that jolt of caffeine on top of your morning cortisol creates a significant stress response in the body. When your body is in this stressed state, it becomes less sensitive to insulin. Insulin is the key hormone that unlocks your cells, allowing them to take in glucose or sugar from your bloodstream to use for energy. When your cells are less sensitive to insulin, a state called insulin resistance, they don't respond as well to its signal. It's like the doorbell is ringing, but the person inside the house has earplugs in. So, you have your coffee on an empty stomach, which puts your body in this temporarily insulin-resistant state. Then, an hour later, you eat your breakfast, perhaps a bowl of oatmeal with fruit or a piece of toast with jam. Those carbohydrates break down into glucose and enter your bloodstream, as they should. But because your cells are resistant, that glucose has a harder time getting into the cells. It ends up hanging around in your bloodstream for longer, causing a much higher and more prolonged blood sugar spike than you would have had otherwise. Your body eventually compensates by pumping out even more insulin to force the cells to respond. This whole process creates a dramatic blood sugar peak, which is inevitably followed by a sharp crash a few hours later. That's that classic mid-morning or mid-afternoon slump where you suddenly feel exhausted, foggy-headed, and intensely crave something sweet or another cup of coffee to get you going again. This creates a vicious cycle. For anyone who is pre-diabetic, diabetic, or simply trying to manage their weight and energy levels, this is incredibly important. Starting your day with this blood sugar roller coaster sets a chaotic metabolic tone for the next 12 hours. The fix, once again, is to eat first. Consuming a little protein, fat, and fiber before the coffee helps to completely blunt this effect. It stabilizes your blood sugar from the very start, allowing your body to respond to the caffeine and your breakfast in a much calmer, more balanced way. So, we've talked about the science. We understand the why behind this advice. The cortisol spike, the stomach acid, the blood sugar roller coaster. It can sound a bit daunting, but I want to shift our focus now to the solution because it is wonderfully, beautifully simple. This is not about deprivation. It is not about giving up a ritual you love. It's about a simple act of reordering, a small tweak that can make a world of difference in how you feel, not just in the morning, but all day long. The goal is to buffer your brew, to put a small, protective layer of food in your stomach before the coffee touches it. This doesn't mean you need to cook a 5-course breakfast before you can even think about your mug. The amount of food can be very small. The key is what it contains: a little bit of protein, a little fat, or a little fiber. These are the nutrients that do the best job of coating the stomach, slowing down the absorption of caffeine, and stabilizing your blood sugar. Let's get practical. Here are some incredibly easy coffee buffers you can have ready to go. Think of these as your coffee's best friend. One of the easiest is a banana. While your coffee is brewing, just peel and eat a small banana. It's gentle on the stomach, provides fiber and potassium, and is just enough to create that needed buffer. It takes less than a minute. Another fantastic option is a handful of nuts, almonds, walnuts, pecans. Keep a small jar of them right next to your coffee maker. Grab a small handful. The protein and healthy fats are superstars for blood sugar control and provide a substantial buffer against stomach acid. What about a hard-boiled egg? You can boil half a dozen at the start of the week and keep them in the fridge. Before your coffee, grab one, peel it, and eat it. It's pure protein and fat, arguably one of the best choices you can make to set your metabolism up for a stable day. If you enjoy yogurt or cottage cheese, a few spoonfuls from a container in the fridge is perfect. The protein is excellent, and the cool, creamy texture can be very soothing to the stomach first thing in the morning. Even a piece of whole grain toast with a little bit of peanut or almond butter is a wonderful choice. The fiber from the toast and the fat and protein from the nut butter work together beautifully. The point is to find what is easiest and most appealing to you. The habit you can stick to is the one that will work. By making this one tiny change, food first, coffee second, you are performing a profound act of self-care. You are telling your body that you're going to work with it, not against it. You're setting yourself up for a day of smoother energy, better digestion, and more stable moods. And you get to do all of that while still, a few minutes later, sitting down to savor that wonderful, aromatic cup of coffee you love so much. And of course, it's always important to remember that this is general guidance for well-being. If you are managing a specific health condition like severe GERD or diabetes, or are taking medications that affect your digestion or blood sugar, it's always a good idea to discuss any changes to your routine, even small ones, with your personal doctor or a registered dietitian. They can help you tailor this advice to your unique health needs. So, let's bring this all together. The goal of this conversation was never to scare you or to take away the joy of your morning coffee. Quite the opposite. It's about enhancing it. It's about making sure that this beloved ritual is truly serving you, helping you feel strong, vibrant, and capable throughout your entire day. We've learned that by simply eating a small bite of food, something with a little protein, fat, or fiber, before your first sip, you accomplish three critical things. You work with your body's natural cortisol rhythm instead of fighting against it, leading to calmer, more sustained energy. You protect your delicate stomach lining from excess acid, reducing the risk of heartburn and irritation. And you set the stage for stable blood sugar all day long, avoiding those draining peaks and crashes. This isn't about adding a complicated task to your morning. It's a simple reordering. It's a small, consistent act of kindness to your body that pays enormous dividends. It's about taking the knowledge of how your body works and using it to feel your absolute best. This is what it means to be in the driver's seat of your own health. It's the small hinges that swing the biggest doors. If you found this video helpful, giving it a like is a wonderful way to let me know. Please consider sharing it with a friend or family member who also cherishes their morning coffee. And if you haven't already, I hope you'll subscribe and join our community. We're all on this journey to better health together. Thank you so much for your time today. Be well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.